Kids animation films, I don't know what's going on lately here, but we have another film that didn't get really any promotion, this time by DreamWorks, Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. What do I think about this film? Well, let's discuss it. A shy adolescent learns that she comes from a fabled royal family of legendary sea krakens and that her destiny lies in the depths of the waters, which is bigger than she could have ever imagined. The film stars Fonda, Lana Condor, Toni Collette, Colman Domingo, Chapman, and Forte, and was directed by Kirk DeMicco, and he's done films like Vivo, Space Chimps, and The Croods. So completely honest with you guys, I really didn't have any intentions to see this film, but when I went to go see The Little Mermaid, my wife actually saw the trailer for this film, and she's like, oh, I really want to go see that movie, and I was thinking, oh, great, I really don't want to watch that movie, but I was like, I'll go ahead and do it for you. So we went ahead and checked this film out, and I had very low expectations. I didn't think the trailer looked anything very special whatsoever, but positives that I can say about this film is I do think the animation is fine here. You know, it's not Pixar animation, but it looks pretty good. I think that they did a really good job of showing the town itself. The town is called Oceanside, and there is some pretty good detail, and I like that it's on the water and stuff like that. Ruby's character, I think that she is fleshed out pretty well. She is in this coming of age story. She's in high school and she's discovering boys for the first time, and she really likes this boy named Connor, and they have this prom going on, and her mom doesn't want her to go because it's on a ship and it's too dangerous, so she forbids her to go, and she wants to disobey her and actually ask this boy out. And when she does ask this boy out, he actually ends up falling into the water, and she has to save them. And then she discovers the secret that she is a kraken. She lives with her parents. Her mother is a real estate agent, and her father is a social media live streamer. And then she has her annoying little brother, which there isn't really much elaboration, and there isn't really any scenes really much with her brother, so nothing too crazy with the brother there. I found it kind of strange because they are different kind of creatures. They're in this town. There's obviously humans in this town, that nobody really questions the fact that they are creatures. They just say that they're from Canada and they actually believe them. Now I understand it's a kids movie, but I found that to be very strange. I also found it interesting that when she actually discovers that she's a kraken, the mother finally comes clean and is like, yeah, you know, we're krakens, we get big and we turn into these big creatures and such. And then she actually finds out that she has a grandmama, and she is the sea creature that rules the bottom of the ocean. And she goes to visit her, and she says to her, well, look, you're the next one on the throne. She's like, well, I don't really want to do that. And then on top of that, she actually meets another girl at school named Chelsea, and she has this red hair. She looks exactly like a mermaid, looks like a complete ripoff of like Ariel from the Disney movies. And that's where I really don't really care for this movie. I feel like it's a very much derivative movie. I think there are things in here that really remind me of other movies, such as Luca, and also Little Mermaid, definitely with mermaids being involved here. I also thought it was kind of strange that apparently there is this war that happened between the krakens and the mermaids, and they're fighting over this trident. And they don't really ever say what the actual conflict as to why that happened. We don't really know why mermaids are actually abolished from this ocean of actually existing with krakens. So I wasn't really buying the fact of this story, or lack of thereof story. And I just found that the film, it took a really long time to really set up into the main story, and it honestly was really boring. And I was in an audience of just me and my wife. There was another family with their kid, and the kid kept kind of running around, and he wasn't really getting into the film. So I'm really curious as to how kids actually take this film, because I just don't really think it's anything special. I actually think it's a very low bar for DreamWorks, and it wasn't really promoted, so I don't think a lot of people really know about it either. And I understand where there are films that are trying to be original, especially for kids, can be kind of hard. But I think that for this kind of film, even though it's an original film, it doesn't really have any originality with it because it's just pulling from too many films, unfortunately. It's a very predictable movie. There was one scene where my wife turned to me and she said, well, I know exactly what's going to happen. This character's going to do this, this, and that. And that's exactly what the character did. And I understand it's a kid's movie, so you can't expect any crazy twist or anything like that. I will say that the coloring in this film, I like it at times, but I think there's other times where there's just a little bit too much color popping on screen and it takes away from certain scenes and it's a little bit distracting. There's another part in here that I thought was really weird, that the Krakens apparently have laser eyes like Superman, and I was like, well, where the heck does this come from? Are these Krakens actual superheroes and they're really that powerful? As far as a narrative and as far as me actually enjoying this film, I really didn't enjoy this film. It was just a very boring movie. I found that it just took too long to really get into the actual meat and potatoes of the story, and I can really understand if children watch this that they have a little bit of struggle of actually getting into this film. I actually think that this is this year's Strange World, because it definitely felt like a meh film, but it feels a little bit even lower than a Strange World, and that's why I would give a score of this film a 1.5 out of 5. Just nothing really special, and unfortunately this is a complete miss, and I could never really recommend this film to even watch. And I think really young kids would probably like this film if they were really even into the premise. I would say like 6-7 year olds at best. Anything higher, I think the attention span is definitely going to wear off, unfortunately. But let me know in the comments, what did you think about Ruby Gillman Teenage Kraken? If you haven't seen it, are you going to check it out on streaming, or are you going to check it out in the theater, or are you just going to completely skip it altogether? But thank you guys for watching this review, and I will see you guys on my next review.